Okay, so I turn that on. Michael, are you ready?
Yeah, throw any cans if you can. Or you
Oh,
that
yeah,
one
yeah,
upside.
yeah. Wait, wait, wait.
Oh, wait, I'm wearing them.
You are.
So I guess you can't do that, huh?
Not if you're wearing them.
Okay, so whenever you're ready.
Oh, okay, whenever I'm ready.
Oops.
No, I can't get that out of my head. All right. You ready?
Yeah.
Okay. We're here at Jazz Live San Diego with Julie Kelly. Welcome to Jazz Live San Diego.
It's great to be here.
So let's start with your rhythm section tonight. We'll talk a little bit about the band that you're playing with. These are names familiar to San Diegans on bass and drum tonight, Rob Thorson and Duncan Moore. Are they familiar to you?
Rob and I, this will be the first time that we played. Duncan Moore and I have played in the past at Balboa Theater. Holly Hoffman was producing and successfully for many years a jazz series there. So I met Duncan there.
No, okay.
Yeah.
So you have a great that part of the rhythm section. You're also with pianist Tom Rainier.
Yes.
And he also has appeared at Jazz Live back in 2012 as part of Glenn Cashman's band. Do you have a history with Tom?
We were just talking about that. We played at Carmelo's, the wonderful jazz club that was alive and well during much of the 80s in Los Angeles. So we played there together and other venues. We've never recorded, but who knows? Maybe that'll be my future path.
Yeah, well, we'll probably get something on tape tonight here at Jazz Live San Diego. So let's talk a little bit about your 2014 release, Happy to Be, your latest release. Congratulations on that fine release.
Thank you.
Getting quite a few spins here at Jazz 88.3. One of the things that was pointed out in several of the reviews was the interesting repertoire, that it was tunes that weren't done as much. Although there were a few that were very common names in there,
Right.
but like Corcovado,
Right.
but there were the majority were new tunes. How do you go about choosing tunes, and how did you do it for this release?
It was an accumulation over time of a lot of tunes, and then figuring out which ones really fit. It's kind of like going to Bloomingdale's and finding 4 or 5 dresses that you really like. You think, oh, wow, this is a great dress. But then you have to go in the dressing room and put it on. So it was a long process, a long, long process, because there's a lot of tunes I might like, but they may not be right for me. And so whatever, and of course there's also the considerations of a palette of tempo and color that you want on a record. So that dictates, for me, a certain breadth of material.
So then on Happy to Be, were you thinking of a certain kind of feel and tempo and vibe?
Well, actually, one of my goals was to expose a lot of women writers and composers and lyricists to the jazz world who may not know about them, like Inga Swearingen, who's a fantastic singer who lives on the Central Coast. She did the lyric and recorded Happy to Be originally as a kind of eighth note tune, kind of funky tune. Susan Martyr is a great composer in Los Angeles for film and for TV, and she's the one I got together and brought her my lyrics for the Joni Mitchell tune, and she composed this song. So these are tunes that have to measure up for me. I'm not going to just do a tune only because it's different, or is somewhat of a jazz tune. I mean, it really has to be as good, I think, as the Great American Songbook, because that's really the measuring stick that I use.
And you mentioned this, and there was another credit of yours on this, the Blues According to Orpheus. So several credits of yours. Is that something that you like to do to put lyrics to music and collaborate on those kind of things?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, to me, that's. I've been writing poetry and stories, pretty much since I was a kid. And I'm a voracious kind of reader of both poetry and fiction. So language is something I really love. And because of my training in school, I was exposed to not just jazz, but the classical styles and, everyone from Meredith Monk to Lieder and art songs. So I think somehow, and everyone else I think thinks this too, that all of those things can work on a jazz record if you just take the time to make it fit right. So, and the world is an eclectic place now. Everyone, look at jazz records. I mean, they include so many different genres that somehow, people make work. So anyway, I'm just one of those. I'm always listening to the new artists,
Right.
and it's kind of a natural thing, a kind of development.
Well, we were talking a little previously about a review that had been done in All About Jazz about the definition of a jazz singer, and the author of the review mentioned not a lot of scatting and not really messing around or going inside the lyrics and turning them inside out like some of the others. Ella and Carmen were mentioned, and we talked then about where you're at right now in interpreting music. What are you doing right now to interpret music in your own way?
Well, I think it's probably fairly evident what I'm doing from this last record, even though I wasn't doing a lot of improvisation with the lyric itself. So it just depends, sort of what I'm interested in at any given time. This record kind of sent me places, because as much as I look for music, music also finds me. So it's sort of a two-way street. And so it was just a process of finding, I guess, what is an eclectic mix of songs, but they all seem really classic, if I could say that, in a certain way. They all really fit. It's not like, oh wow, she's singing this song, but this song really doesn't really fit. So anyway, I don't know if I answered your actual question.
That was important to kind of have everything fit together in a way to make a common thing.
Yeah.
Well, then let's go back and talk about how we got here then. You were exposed to, it seems like, a lot of different music when you were growing up, but I also heard that, when you were in your early teens, you were listening to Monk and Train and Ella. Did you come from a family that had music playing, or were those things you sought out yourself?
No, my family was a member of the Columbia Record Club, so every month we got a whole stack of records, and it was an real eclectic mix. So I remember we actually got the solo Monk record. I couldn't believe it. And then we would get Leontyne Price, and then we'd get Mitch Miller, the Harmonicats, Harry Belafonte, etc. So it was nothing to listen to all kinds of music.
Right.
Which was, I don't know, I think that's kind of missing, now.
Yeah, very genre specific. People listen to the same thing, and
it's real targeted. It's very, very targeted to age groups and things. So I was lucky, and of course, everyone in my family, we listened to the same music because we were all just like there was one TV.
Right.
So.
And then you played guitar. You did that with your twin sister, I guess,
That's right.
In a group.
That's right.
So you were not only just a singer, but you were also playing guitar. Is that something you still do?
It is. It is. It's something I do a lot of Brazilian music. And so often I play maybe not every tune, but a few tunes per set. And I went to Brazil and lived there for a period of time. So I really I've gone a little deep into Brazilian music. Not so much the brand new what they're doing now, but all the bossa nova, samba, canção, and other music. Of course, I've only scratched the surface because it's so rich
Right.
and so deep.
You'd have to live there a long time to really get
Yeah.
all of that.
Yeah.
So then, that I would imagine being both a player and a singer and working with your sister, kind of got you in tune to what you like about accompanists, and that is another kind of big thing that comes out is the work that you do with piano players and arrangers like Bill Cunliffe and Mike Wofford even in
Yes.
San Diego.
Right.
So what do you look for in an accompanist, someone that you're working with in that kind of setting where you're really trying to put together a whole set of tunes and do that?
Well, when I worked with Tom Garvin, one of our great composers on the West Coast and an arranger from big band music to chamber jazz settings too, he would always know what the lyric was. And if he didn't know, he would ask you what it was at certain key points in the arrangement. Plus, he actually was a secret singer. I mean, he liked to sing, and I think accompanists who really have a gift for that either sing or want to sing. I mean, there's an affinity that occurs with certain piano players. So, actually, with this record, in terms of the arrangements, I sort of cast my net a bit wider. I have everybody arranging from Jacob Mann, who is still studying at USC. His mentor is Alan Pasqua. And so Jeff Colella did some of the arranging. I'm blanking on some of the other people. But so I cast a broader net. And I think I did that deliberately. I just wanted some different surprises. And so this new record isn't just an arrangement, or the arrangements aren't done just by one person, but several. So, yeah.
Well, then let's talk a little bit about what's next. I think this was either your 8th or 9th release. And what are you working on now? What are some of the things that you've got either projects that you haven't started and you want to work on, or things that you're actually immediately working on now?
It's a secret.
Well, I know, and that's
No,
why I'm asking.
just kidding.
That's why I'm asking, is so
Well,
we can get a little bit of the secret.
I have my next project. It's formalizing, as we speak, and I'm collecting a lot of different material for it, and it'll be eclectic also, but will feature certain specific things. I really almost
Really?
hesitate to talk about it.
Really?
That's
You don't want to spoil the surprise, or is it
Kind of,
that you
yeah.
haven't fully formed
I have-
what the idea is?
Yeah, I haven't fully formed it. I'm writing a lot of lyrics.
Really?
And as it turns out, there are lyrics to guitar players' songs, like a song by Russell Malone, for instance. I'm writing lyrics to a song by John Pizzarelli. So I'm not quite sure what it's all going to come around to being, but it's along those lines.
Excellent. Well, that's
Yeah.
great to see you kind of pushing that part of your art and doing that. Where can folks find out more about you and your music and get connected with you?
I have a website, and so it has my performances and background and my workshops and all kinds of things. So it's Julie-Kelly, KELLY.com, and I welcome everyone out there to please visit.
Well, it's a pleasure and an honor to have you here at Jazz Live San Diego. Best of luck to you and all your projects going forward.
Thank you so much.
Cool.
Okay. Oh my gosh, it's hot in here.